afternoon, Your Honor. We've been having some logon issues. We're just waiting for Deputy Rhodes to join us.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
We have a Russian interpreter from yesterday that we couldn't speak to a client for the PD. So they're on today. So I don't know if they're gonna need a breakout room to talk or roll with the punches.
Let's ask that first so they can get on in the breakout room.
And I don't know where the defendant is at, so I don't know what courtroom he's in or if they're gonna put him in a separate room or not.
I spoke with the defendant using the language line earlier, so there's no need for a breakout room.
Okay, good.
The interpreter is on the line. I see her.
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made at this juncture. What is our SAP reset date, Ms. Bridgewater?
March the 28th.
March 28th for SAP reset. I want to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. I want to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. You have a right to have representation or counsel with you at this juncture. You should know who your attorneys are at this time. Please listen to them. Also, I want to let you know that you do have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts and circumstances or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you and used against you. The state is here, they're listening. So follow the lead of your attorneys. All right, who do we have first, deputies?
Position number 6.
6, okay. This is 24 CR 001226F. And this is Davius Timmons, charged with 1 count of pedestrian walking on the sidewalk, must walk on the sidewalk, and then willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Pre-trial?
7 total. 2022 probation, simple assault conviction, 2021 battery conviction. Jail is the recommendation.
All right. State?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place March 15, 2024. Law enforcement responded to the Grady Detention Center, 80 Jesse Hill Drive, Junior Drive in Atlanta. Upon arrival, officer met with the security supervisor, Sergeant Derek McEwen, who advised that Davius Timmons was detained for fighting Grady security officers. He advised that Mr. Timmons became upset when he could not be seen and refused to leave the premises while cursing and harassing other folks coming into the hospital. Mr. Timmons also stood in the middle of the street of the intersection at Armstrong and Jesse Hill Junior Drive for about 30 minutes, with security officers asking him to get out of the street several times as he was impeding traffic and continuing to harass folks coming into the hospital. At that point, he was detained after swinging at one of the officers. Once law enforcement arrived, they escorted Mr. Timmons out of the hospital, told him to leave the location. He initially left, but continued to cause disturbance outside. He began to walk away upon seeing the officer, stepped off of the sidewalk, refusing to comply with commands and continuing to impede traffic. Mr. Timmons then failed to comply with the officer's command to stop walking away. He began to run. A short foot chase pursued and ultimately ended with Mr. Timmons blading his body in a position to with the intention to fight. The officer was able to place him into custody after using a leg sweep to get him on the ground. Your Honor, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, 1-day anger awareness course. Stay away from the Grady Hospital unless he's receiving treatment, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Ms. Jinks, is this your case? Good
It is.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you again, Judge.
You too.
Thanks. We're in agreement with the state. We are asking Your Honor to allow that signature bond to be in place, Judge. Mr. Timmons attended Hancock Central High School. He's born and raised here in Atlanta. He has some family support, and we're asking you to allow the signature bond.
All right. I know he was recommended through the jail. I know the state asked for pretrial. Does he have the resources to be able to report? I don't know if he's working or.
He is not working, Judge. I saw that I thought the recommendation from pretrial was a UJR level 2. But either way, whether it's through pretrial or the jail, we ask that be the case for him.
Yeah, I think that pretrial just said jail, but we know we have good contacts and he'll be back, correct?
Judge, he does not have a phone number, so that's the only issue. He was not able to give me a cell number, Judge. I do have an email for him, though.
Pretrial.
Yes.
Your recommendation was jail?
Yes.
All right. If he can get a cell phone or, I don't want to hinder him from being able to report, guess he would have to go in live or walk in to
That's not a
report
problem.
to pretrial. Because I want to make sure that we're going to be able to keep up with him. All right. I will, let's see, on the first charge, $1,000 signature bond. On the second charge, $1,500. So that'll be a total of $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Level 2. I'm going to order that 1-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order that stay away from Grady Hospital unless he's receiving treatment. And even if he's receiving treatment, he cannot harass or be belligerent or angry to the employees or to the other visitors in the hospital. So Mr. Timmons, I sometimes will tell people they have to go somewhere else for treatment, but I won't do that with the hopes that if you have to go back there for any type of treatment, that you will be on your best conduct with the employees and the visitors at Grady. So I guess that will be it, counsel, if there's anything that I've missed.
Nothing further from the defense, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Position 1.
This is 24 CR 001228J, Latasha Green, charge of 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
Second adult arrest. Last was 01 for battery.
Okay. Is that you, DSG Rhodes?
Yes, I'm sorry. Position number 1 is. What's the name on position number 1? I didn't receive a calendar.
Latasha Green.
Oh, that's actually my case, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm
Oh,
sorry
is it
about
yours? Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
If-
no worries.
If we can ask, if anyone can send either me or Deputy Rhodes a copy of the calendar we didn't.
I'll send them a
receive.
copy of the calendar.
Okay, thank you. This incident took place on March 15, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute at 509 Lucky Street Northwest Atlanta. Upon arrival, Latasha Green opened the door in a rage. She stated, "Get him the hell out of my house," referring to Craig Franklin. The officer observed Mr. Franklin was bleeding from his left eye. Mr. Franklin explained that he was ignoring Miss Green as he was getting ready to leave the residence to visit his ill mother. When he tried to leave, she blocked the door, preventing him from leaving the residence. Miss Green did not move after multiple requests. He decided to push through her. At that point, Miss Green struck him on the face, causing the cut beneath his eye. Miss Green's daughter, Amaya Smith, told the officer that Mr. Franklin had come into her room to vent about the situation when her mother followed him into the room, continued to block the entryway. At that time, Mr. Franklin grabbed her by the throat, pushed her into the wall, and the two continued to fight. The officer was unable to determine the primary aggressor, so both Miss Green and Mr. Franklin were arrested. And Your Honor, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services and anger awareness course. No further contact with Craig Franklin. It appears that Mr. Franklin was arrested, but he didn't show up on the pool sheet, so I'm not sure, what happened. But we will allow the court to determine who stays away from the location. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Whose case? PD Jenks or
That's my.
Maxwell?
Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Miss Green, is a mother of 4 children, 3 of whom are teenagers, and 3 grandchildren who all live in the home with her. The apartment, in which this took place is her apartment in her name. So we would ask that she be allowed to remain at the residence. She maintains, and fully denies the allegations and states that, the complaining witness was the primary aggressor. He was intoxicated and belligerent, and she took no offensive actions against him. Other people at the home's narrative seem to back up hers as well. Additionally, just as a note, her grandmother did pass away yesterday, so we would ask that the court please give her a signature bond and allow her to remain at the residence. And she has no issue staying away from the complaining witness in this case.
All right. Is he the father of any of the children or no? Or do we know?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, I will order a $2,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Mr. Craig Franklin. And that's all I'll order at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna do the interpreter case, number 2.
All right. Madam Interpreter, can you raise your right hand for me? I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that you will faithfully interpret from Russian to English and English to Russian the proceedings before this court in an accurate manner and to the best of your skill and knowledge with no embellishments?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. All right, this is position 2, case number 24 CR 001204E. And I think that is Alexander Leonov, charged with 1 count of violating family violence protective order.
Second arrest.
Hold on, pretrial.
Озвучен был номер вашего дела. Зовут вас Александр Леонов. Предъявляется обвинение по нарушению правил, связанных с домашним насилием.
All right, go ahead, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2022, alien inadmissibility. Jail was the recommendation.
Второе нарушение закона, первое было в 2022 году. Представитель штата рекомендует наказание заключением, лишением свободы.
All right, stay.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place on March 10th, 2024.
Этот инцидент произошел 10 марта 2024 года.
And the victim, Victoria Nikolkina,
Hey, Judge,
contacted.
I don't think they're on the line.
Oh.
I think the courtroom just went off.
Oh, what happened? Oh, yes, the jail. I think they fell off. Let's see.
Подождите минуточку, по-моему, потеряли с вами связь.
Yeah, they did go offline. They're not online. Hold on, let me see if I can get them back.
Okay.
They're coming back on now, Judge.
All right, thank you.
We're just waiting for them to start their camera.
Hello, y'all hear me?
Who are you?
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to join in this yet.
No.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
change your name to who you are so we know who's in the courtroom. And then put yourself on mute.
Okay, Jaleel Hill.
You're a victim or a family member or what?
I think he's here for Jalal Hill. But we'll get to his case. I think he's been NOD, but we'll get to it.
All right.
The courtroom too hear the history?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this incident took place March 10th, 2024.
Этот инцидент произошел 10 марта 2024 года.
Law enforcement was contacted on March 11th by Victoria Nikolkina.
11 марта представители полиции получили сообщение или звонок, контакт от Виктории Никулькина.
She's the victim of a family violence case with Alexander Leonov from March. He was arrested on March 8th.
Значит, она является жертвой этого домашнего насилия, и Александр Леонов был арестован 8 марта.
Prior to his arrest, Mr. Leonov was served a family violence ex parte protective order that stated he should have no contact, direct or indirect, with Miss Nikolkina.
До ареста, который произошел 8 марта, Александру Леонову было предъявлено решение суда, приказ, постановление суда, так называемый protective order, по которому он не имел права близко приближаться к Виктории.
Miss Nikolkina advised that Mr. Leonov contacted her through a third party by the name of Roman Sharko.
Мисс Никулькина сообщила, что ее контактировал обвиняемый через третье лицо. Роман, this is an interpreter speaking. Please repeat that last name.
Sharko, Sharko.
Роман Шарков. Thank you.
She provided screenshots of Facebook messages between her and Sharko, where he tells her he's on the phone with Mr. Leonov and he is crying. He is sorry for what he's done and asks if he can call her in 5 minutes.
Она предоставила подтверждение того, что она была на телефоне с этим третьим лицом, где Александр просил, требовал контакта с ней.
Ms. Nikokina refused the call with Sharko, believing that it would be a conference call with Mr. Leonov.
Мисс Никулькина отказалась участвовать в этом звонке, понимая, что этот разговор будет с Александром Леоновым.
She was also contacted by Mr. Leonov's stepmother, who told her that the entire family could lose their visas, and that Mr. Leonov said that she was the first aggressor.
Также с ней был контакт от неродной матери, да, степ-матери, неродной матери Александра, где в этом контакте была информация о том, что она станет причиной того, что вся семья потеряет визу, и что на самом деле она является агрессором.
She believes that Mr. Leonov is telling his stepmother because he knows his stepmother will relay the messages to her.
Виктория считает, что мистер Леонидов Александр говорит это своей неродной матери, зная, что эта информация таким образом попадет к ней.
The officer contacted Roman Sharkov, who admitted to contacting Ms. Nikokina on Mr. Leonov's behalf.
Представитель полиции контактировал с мистером Шарковым, который подтвердил, что действительно пытался связаться с мисс Никулькиной для контакта с Александром.
He then recanted the story after the officer explained the contact will result in additional criminal violation, and then changed his story back when the officer told him he could also be charged with obstruction for lying during an investigation.
После чего представитель полиции объяснил о том, что тем самым он также может быть обвинен в нарушении закона, предоставляя вот эту линию для общения.
Our office has been in contact with Ms. Nikokina.
Наш офис был в контакте с мисс Никулькина.
She says they are married. They no longer live together after the TPO was granted.
Она подтвердила, что они на сегодняшний день состоят в официальном браке, но вместе не живут с тех пор, как был подписан приказ суда, так называемый временный protective order.
They share one child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She stated she is very afraid of Mr. Leonov.
Она также подтвердила, что у пары имеется совместный ребенок, и сказала о том, что она сильно боится контакта с мистером Леонов.
She also stated that someone contacted her yesterday on Mr. Leonov's behalf, asking if she can withdraw money for his attorney.
I'm sorry, please repeat that one more time.
She stated she was contacted yesterday on Mr. Leonov's behalf, asking if she can withdraw money for his attorney.
Она также сказала о том, что вчера с ней был контакт третьего лица, который просил, чтобы она сняла деньги или взяла деньги для того, чтобы оплатить адвоката для мистера Леонова.
She stated she wants no contact with the defendant.
Она сказала о том, что она не хочет никаких контактов с обвиняемым.
And Your Honor, our office did seek to upgrade the charge to aggravated stalking. That was rejected by the DA's office.
Наш офис предлагал повысить уровень обвинения, но офис прокурора эту просьбу отклонил.
The defendant is currently in custody since March 8th.
Обвиняемый находится в заключении, начиная с 8 марта.
For an incident in late February. The charges were cruelty in the first, cruelty in the third, and the battery family violence.
Находится он в заключении по поводу инцидента, который произошел в конце февраля, который обвиняется уровень степени домашнего насилия второй, третьей степени.
He received a $25,000 straight bond at the Superior Court.
Значит, ему был назначен залог в сумме $25 тысяч Superior судом.
And Your Honor, as a result, the state is requesting a $5,000 surety bond and no further contact with Victoria Nikokina.
Представитель штата требует 5 000 залог, security залог, а также обещание, что никаких контактов с мисс Никулькиной не будет.
All right, is there a stay away location or request?
Есть ли какие-то требования по поводу местонахождения?
I believe, Your Honor, if I remember correctly, the victim has left the residence, but let me double check just in case.
Если мне не отказывает память, то жертва уехала с этого места проживания, но дайте мне время, я должен удостовериться, что так это и есть.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. So we will add a stay away from the victim's residence, which we have as 340 Knoll Ridge Court in Alpharetta.
Okay.
Rich Court in Alpharetta. Значит, мы также добавим в наши требования о том, чтобы обвиняемый находился на расстоянии, да, то есть не был в непосредственной близости к адресу 340 North Ridge Court, Alpharetta.
All right, PD Maxwell?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Leonov denies that he ever directed anyone to speak with his wife and denies violating his protective order in any way.
Мой подзащитный полностью отрицает то, что он был в контакте со своей женой и нарушил какие-либо правила поведения в смысле домашнего насилия.
Given that he is already sitting on a $25,000 bond on a prior case, I would ask that the court set a bond as low as the court finds appropriate. He wishes to get it out so that he can hire a Russian-speaking attorney.
Учитывая то, что мой подзащитный, у него уже назначена сумма залога по какому-то предыдущему обвинению в сумме $25 тысяч, я попрошу суд учесть этот факт и назначить, насколько возможно, минимальную сумму залога. Учтите, пожалуйста, что ему нужно будет попытаться найти адвоката, который говорит по-русски.
All right.
Хорошо.
I'm going to order that $5,000 surety bond.
Я назначаю 5 000 сумму залога.
I'm going to order that Mr. Leonov have no further contact with the victim.
Я также вношу в свой приказ требование, чтобы у мистера Леонова не было дальнейших контактов с жертвой.
I'm sure he already knows this. He is to stay 200 yards away from her.
Я уверена, что ему известно, но повторю, что он обязан находиться не ближе, чем 200 ярдов к жертве. Не ближе, чем 200 ярдов к жертве.
Which is the equivalent of 2 football fields.
Что 2 ярда – это 2 футбольных поля.
He's not to contact her by any means, phone, cell, other persons, computers.
Он, обвиняемый, не имеет права контактировать жертву никакими методами. Сюда входит посредством телефона, компьютера или через третье лицо.
And he is not to have any other persons to contact her on his behalf.
Он также не имеет права просить какое-то третье лицо, чтобы с ней вошли в контакт, ну, по его просьбе.
Stay away from her residence.
Находитесь подальше от ее места проживания.
No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons or guns while on bond.
Никаких наркотиков, никакого употребления алкоголя и никакого владения или ношения каких-либо оружий, да, то есть это все нельзя, пока вы находитесь под требованием этого залога.
And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel?
Я думаю, что я все сказала, и хотите ли что-то добавить?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ничего, ничего.
Thank you.
Спасибо. This is an interpreter, Your Honor. Do you need me to stay around for anything else, or do you need me to disconnect?
I don't believe so. I was going to ask you how many other different languages you speak.
I can speak fluently Russian. I do speak Ukrainian, not as well, but sometimes I do interpret in Ukrainian. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe you are free to go. Thank you so much for your services.
Thank you so much for using my services. Have a good day, everyone. До свидания. Будьте
too.
здоровы. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Mhm.
Position 4.
Okay. This is 24 CR 001230B. Shanita Scott, charged at 1 count of battery.
Third
Free
arrest, 2013 and 14 ag assault dismissed. Jail was a recommendation.
All right, state.
Sorry, Judge, what position is this?
This is position 3. I'm sorry, 4.
Four. Oh.
Shanita Scott.
All right, that is Mr. Let me see where he's at. That is
Did they fall off? Let's see.
Mr. Graham's case. Looked
Oh,
like
there
he
we
might
go.
have. Oh, there we go.
Um, I'm here, but Deputy Rhodes, it was the originally number 9 on our poll sheet. So I think
Okay.
you can- yeah.
Position number 9. Okay. Gotcha. All right, I'm almost there. All right. All right, Shanita Scott. Now, as it relates to all right, as it relates to Ms. Scott, Your Honor, this is a case that was on or about 3/15/2022. Location is 1854 Stanfield Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. The victim and defendant got into a verbal dispute over the defendant's inability to get around the victim's vehicle. So it was a road rage incident, Your Honor. The defendant then exited her vehicle, which was an Infiniti FX 35 Georgia tag SAM 8791, which was captured by the victim at the time of the incident. And the defendant approached the victim, Ms. Carter, and then proceeded to pepper spray her in the face. Afterwards, the defendant got back into her car and fled the scene. There was an eyewitness who observed the incident and also reported it to law enforcement officers. And so Ms. Carter because Ms. Carter was able to retrieve the tag number from the Black Infinity, law enforcement officers were able to respond to Ms. Scott's address. And when they questioned her about the incident, she did admit to a verbal altercation and to the pepper spray incident. Your Honor, as it relates to Ms. Scott, what I'm showing as far as history is a 2013 aggravated assault out of Henry County that was dismissed, and a 2014 aggravated assault out of the Flint Judicial Circuit, which was dismissed. This would be her third arrest and offense, Your Honor. Given the gravity of this particular incident, the road rage, and the fact that pepper spray was deployed on the victim, we're asking for a $3,000 good bond and no further contact with the victim in this case, who is Miss Cache Carter, and that's spelled Kache. We're asking that that the court order that she has no weapons, including pepper spray, mace, or the likes. And that's the recommendation of the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. PD Jinks?
Yep, thanks, Judge. Judge, Miss Scott is born and raised here in Atlanta. Her entire family's here. She is a high school graduate and also has achieved or obtained her certification to be a CNA. That's her current job. She is working with Pro Health Healthcare. She has just started working as a CNA. She is a single parent, Judge. She's got 2 children, one who's 12 years old and one who is 1-year-old. The 12-year-old is currently with her sister. The 1-year-old is with her aunt. She disputes the narrative that the state has just recited to you, Judge. She was parked in a street waiting for her daughter to come from a park and to pick her daughter up. She stated there was room for the alleged victim to get around her vehicle. In fact, she had moved up so that there would be even more room. The alleged victim in this case started screaming profanities at her and gesticulating. And so Miss Scott did get out to say, hey, I'm trying to deal with, my daughter and pick her up. And the alleged victim went to grab something from the passenger seat, at which time Miss Scott did spray pepper spray, not in her face, however, towards her body, because she was very scared that she was grabbing some kind of weapon. Then she did get in her car and left. Judge, she has no prior convictions for anything. Those priors that the state and pretrial talked about have been dismissed and expunged. I know the recommendation through pretrial was a UJR, and we're asking you to grant that. She definitely wants to get back to her children. She's not been away from her 1-year-old since the child's been born. And as I said, they've, kind of been farmed out to her relatives.
All right, I will grant a $3,500 signature bond through the jail. With that signature bond through the jail, there will be no further contact with the victim, Miss Cache Carter. There will be no drugs, alcohol, weapons, guns, or pepper spray of the likes to be used or to be in possession of Miss Scott while she's on bond. I am going to oh, well, this was on the road. I was getting ready to say a stay away, but there is none. She's just obviously to have no further contact with the victim.
That's not a problem, Judge. They have no relationship whatsoever.
Okay. And I believe that is it. That's all I'll order at this time.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Next, we have position number 5.
This is 24 CR 001232C. Is it Guinan or Guinan Smith? Guinan Smith.
Third arrest, 2023 suspended license, 2021 ag assault dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Smith, looks like this was a just a traffic incident on March 14th of this year. She was pulled over by an Officer Woodley for failing to signal a lane change. And after his interaction with her, he discovered that she didn't have a license. I believe she already has a $6,000 bond that's attached automatically to this charge, $3K and $3K per incident. That's a signature bond or USJR or through the jail. I don't see no reason why it can't be through the jail.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. We are also asking for a signature bond, Your Honor. Obviously, it's a nonviolent crime, as the state stated. Ms. Smith is born and raised in Atlanta. She's got family here. She actually lives with her mother and her stepfather, Judge. She's currently working with the Good Biz, which is a subsidiary of Goodwill, where they help give grants to young people that are trying to start business endeavors, and she's been working on an app and trying to launch that. So we're asking Your Honor to allow the signature bond through the jail or pretrial.
All right. And so the existing bond, Deputy Rhodes, you said it's 3,000 on each of the charges?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what I saw earlier in jailing. That they're probably automatically attached because they were only traffic offenses.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, I will continue with the $3,000 signature bond. I'm sorry, actually, that would be a total of 6.
Yeah, I mean, Judge, well,
That's kind of high.
that's high, Judge. I don't know.
I was getting ready to say 3,000 on both, but 3,000 for both, 1,500 each.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Is that through the jail or pretrial, Judge?
Jail. Looks like she'll be back. 3,000 SOB jail, 1,500 on each. And no driving unless she has a valid driver's license. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it.
Thank you, Judge.
Mhm.
Position 8.
This is 24 CR 00123-1C. Tinsley Wright, charged with 1 count of theft by taking.
Second arrest, 2012 theft by shoplifting, not prosecuted. I got a hold out of Clayton County for illegal use of credit cards. I mean, I guess jail. He's got a hold. That's all.
Mhm. All right,
Your-
stay.
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Mr. Wright, this was an incident that took place on March 13th of this year.
It's a female, sir.
Miss Wright, yeah, Lamar.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Miss Wright. Let me apologize, Miss Wright. This was an incident that took place on March 13th of this year. The victim in this case, Mr. Larry Hunter, arrived to work with the $300 with cash inside of his bag. He advised he placed his bag in the manager's office under a counter. At closing time, when Mr. Hunter went to retrieve his bag, he noticed that the money was missing. He reported the incident to the manager, who viewed surveillance camera, and it was discovered then that Ms. Wright was observed on camera taking the money from the location that it was placed. Officer Tolliver, the officer that responded to the incident location, also viewed the camera on scene and confirmed what the manager had reported. Afterwards, Ms. Wright subsequently admitted to the theft by taking. As it relates to priors, I do agree with what pretrial has just stated. So what I'm going to recommend on this theft by taking is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 1. Stay away from the incident location. I believe it's a Burger King. I can get you that location. It's 1122 Northside Drive, Northwest in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe it's a Burger King that Ms. Tinsley was previously employed, but not any longer. And also stay away from the victim, Mr. Larry Hunter, and any other witnesses connected with the case. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, thank you. Judge, we're in agreement with the state in terms of the bond, a signature bond through the jail and with those special conditions that Mr. Rhodes just stated. Ms. Wright is a high school graduate judge. She has been in Atlanta her entire life. She's got her family here, her mother, father, grandparents, and siblings. We are asking you to allow the signature bond. She does have that Clayton County hold, so that's where she will be headed.
All right. This will be I'll order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. And I will order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I will order no further contact with the victim, Larry Hunter, and to stay away from that Burger King on Northside Drive. Since you don't work there anymore, just don't go back. And that should
Your
be
Honor,
it.
I don't know the manager's name. I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I don't know the manager's name, but also stay away from the store manager.
Okay. We'll add that as well, Ms. Bridgewater.
That's not a problem, Judge. Thank you.
You said
Mhm.
add the manager's name or just stay away from that Burger King?
The Burger King and any and all employees there.
No problem.
Number 3, Mitchell.
This is 24 CR 0012229J. Simone Mitchell, charged with 1 count of unlawful conduct during 911 call by using obscene language.
Just
Please.
hold on 1 minute. Hold on, let me see something.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Third arrest. Resident of Detroit, Michigan, on probation for emergency 911 service using for unauthorized purpose and stalking. Yeah. That's it, Judge.
Okay.
'Cause,
State.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Mitchell, this incident took place on March 1st, 2024. The defendant, Ms. Mitchell, called 911 a total of 13 times for the purpose of harassing 911 communications personnel. During these calls, the defendant was violent and tumultuous, used plenty of profanity and threatening language towards those employees. When asked to stop calling by the officer in this case, she continued to call. She called at least 3 more times after she was asked to stop calling. Given the history that pretrial was able to ascertain, as well as the fact that the defendant is currently on probation, it sounds like this is repeated behavior. And we're going to ask for a good bond in this particular case for $3,000 and no further contact with Roswell emergency 911 personnel or Officer Christensen, which was the particular officer that called her in this particular case. Officer, I believe it's R. Christensen, first initial R. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. PD Maxwell.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Mitchell is currently homeless. She has been living out of her car. She works at a Popeyes up in Roswell. She stays in hotels when she's able to, but largely she has been homeless for the entire time she's lived in Atlanta, which has been about a little over a year. She's in a relationship. She's got sort of a found family here that she has, but she still has close ties with her family back in Michigan as well. She is not going to be able to pay a $3,000 good bond. She is unlikely to be able to pay any sort of bond, given that she is living out of her car and working just to try to pay enough for a hotel to keep a roof over her head. I would ask that the court consider a signature bond for Ms. Mitchell with pretrial services. Allow her an opportunity to continue trying to go to work so she doesn't lose her job.
Okay, I am concerned about the conduct and then the prior charge, I believe, is the same thing.
If I may, Your Honor, I didn't have access to the warrant in this case, beforehand, so I'm sort of catching up now. But I do believe the situation back in Detroit was a little more complicated. There was a domestic violence situation involved. And that is part of why she left Detroit and came to start and turn over a new leaf.
I'm going to order the $3,000 good bond, surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And stay away from the Roswell 911 center or emergency center, and as well as they stay away from Officer R. Christians while on bond. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That's all out order for now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask about Miss Hill. She's not on the calendar. I was told that her charges was NOD, but was it both charges or just one?
Your Honor, if I may, so one of the charges was an NOD, but the other one for Ms. Hill should have appeared on the calendar as a battery family violence charge.
She's not on the calendar.
Judge, can we have that added on, please? We don't want her reset.
You don't add your own.
And she's not on the add-on calendar. That Shield's on the add-on calendar.
What about Bridges, Mr. Darius Bridges? He's not on the calendar either.
Darius Bridges was a felony transfer, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe he was seen at first appearance this morning.
All right, Miss
So
Lewis.
he did not go to felony this morning because we did not know.
He was actually on the pull sheet for felony first offender. If he did not go, I suggest we go ahead and address bond. It is in fact a transfer. It was accepted by the DA's office, and he was on the pull sheet for the 11 o'clock first appearance for felony. However, if he did not go, I think we ought to address bond today as it relates to Mr. Bridges.
Okay, because felony court is they're finished for today and the judge is already gone.
Miss
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes, ma'am.
What say you?
Well, from our announcement that, yeah, they said that Darius Bridge was transferred to felony court. If y'all decide to do a bond on him, it'll be based on the booking number.
And they will have to prepare that bond order.
Yeah, the problem is it's already transferred, right? DSG Roads.
Yes, it has been accepted, transferred. But I don't know is if it was assigned a DA number or either a CP number.
What's his booking number? Anybody know?
Booking number is 404152.
All right, hold on. He wasn't on the felony pull sheet though. Hold on.
Okay.
No, because he was originally on our full sheet to start with.
Yeah. Nah, he hasn't been assigned anything yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. He hasn't been assigned.
And Judge, just so you know, it's sort of a lengthy process for unbeknownst reasons to have that assigned. So we would agree with DSG Roads in terms of addressing bond if that's possible. Otherwise, he could fall through the cracks.
Yeah, Judge, you still can address it, and Ms. Holly, I will show you how to do that order on the form. All we do is do the booking number and then the accusation number to be announced. As long as it's by the booking number on there, the jail will associate that information to his charges.
I do have a history if you want.
Well, you'd have to call the case for me. I don't have a name. I don't have case number or anything.
Uh, uh, hold on. Which I said Darius Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Charged with theft by taking, am I correct? Yeah, theft by taking, misdemeanor. 16 total. You got an open burglary in the second. Theft by taking, criminal trespass. That's in Superior Court, 23 SC 188779. 2022 probation, couple of probation violations from 2021. 2021 theft by conversion conviction. 2021 theft by deception conviction. 2018 computer trespass, computer invasion of privacy, computer theft, theft by taking, computer forgery. All of those were convictions. 2018 robbery conviction, 2018 theft by taking conviction, and 2014 battery conviction. That's all.
Okay. Dave?
Thank you, Your Honor. So in this case, Mr. Bridges, Darius Bridges, was with a friend of his. The victim's name is Jasmine Harris. He took her phone. She drove him to the bank. He took her phone into the bank. She waited for him to come out. After about 30 minutes, she went in to check to see what was going on. She was advised by the bank staff that he had left at a different exit. He used her phone to initiate a withdrawal from her account. And that total amount was $373. So the state was requesting a $5,000 surety bond, Your Honor. No further contact with Jasmine Harris, and stay away, I guess, from her residence. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. PDJ or Maxwell? Which one?
Yes,
Yes.
Your Honor, I'll be handling this one.
Okay.
Mr. Bridges denies these charges completely. And he would have no problem staying away from the complaining witness in this case, as he does not know that person. He has been a lifelong Atlanta resident. He has a 5-year-old daughter that he is a single parent of. And she turned 6 in 2 days, so she's just barely still 5. He has a steady job. He works at a essentially a fish warehouse where that goes towards like pet stores. We would ask that the court consider a signature bond, as he is on a very fixed income and all of his money goes towards paying for rent and childcare needs.
And Your Honor, if I may, I know we heard the history by pretrial, but the reason for the state's transfer request, he's got 2 theft by taking convictions in 2018 and theft by deception in 2019. So this would make a 4th theft conviction, which would cause it to be a felony upgrade. And I mean, we heard the history, and he's kind of got this pattern of taking people's things. And that's the reason for the $5,000 surety bond. I meant to put that on the record just previously.
All right. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from it's the bank or the incident location, as well as a stay away from the home address for the victim, Jasmine Harris. No further contact with the victim, Jasmine Harris, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that will be it for that case.
number,
I got extra on.
number,
It's in one.
number 7, Weaver.
This is 24 CR 001227A. Chaz Weaver, charged of 1 count of simple battery, 2nd count of criminal trespass. Pretrial.
This is second arrest. He had an arrest from 01 for a capital offense. It was dismissed. Jail was the recommendation.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place January 2nd, 2023. Law enforcement responded to domestic dispute.
I think it's 2022.
Oh, is it 2022?
I think I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's
Mr.
okay.
Graham. I think the body of the warrant has the correct date, I believe.
I have it as 2023. I see in the body of the warrant where it says 2022, but even the date that the warrant was signed was January 2nd, 2023. So I just assumed that was a typo.
Okay, I was thinking it was the other way around.
Right. Well, I assume that the signed date would have been the correct date, the date the actual warrant was signed. Considering if it were 22, that would be a year after the incident. But
Okay.
either way, I'll say January 2nd, 2023, law enforcement responded to 5612 Feldwood Road in Atlanta to a domestic dispute call. Upon arrival, they met with Chaz Weaver, who was the son of Chaz Weaver. He had come to the residence unannounced and unexpected. The junior Mr. Weaver opened the door slightly at the instruction of his mother. At that point, his father, the senior Mr. Weaver, began to force his way in. It was noted the senior Mr. Weaver was holding an alcoholic beverage at the time of this forced entry. The junior Mr. Weaver advised that his father became more aggressive, continued to push him in a manner that almost caused him to fall. The senior Mr. Weaver fled the scene before law enforcement arrived. Our office has been in contact with the junior Mr. Weaver. He states that he is the defendant's son. They do not reside together. They do not have a domestic violence history. He is not in fear of his father. He confirmed the events in the warrant, stated the incident happened quite some time ago. And since then, he and his father have had no violent interactions. They've been doing well and no further incidents. He stated that he does want contact. I do believe I see Mr. Weaver signed in, so if we can sound for him, Your Honor, at the end of the presentation. Based on those facts, Your Honor, the limited history, the state is recommending a signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Chaz Weaver or Sela Weaver, who is also listed in the warrant, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. All right, Mr. Weaver, do you wish to address the court, Mr. Chaz Weaver?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, to turn on your camera and I'm going to swear you in first. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Tinsley, Wright?
Say one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Chaz, I looked at the wrong case. Is it Chaz Lindell Weaver? Are you in fear of him?
No.
Okay. And do you want to have any further contact with Mr. Weaver?
Absolutely.
Okay. He's your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 18.
18?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I assume you all live together at this 5612 Feldwood Road?
No, we don't live together.
You do not? Oh, you do
No.
not live with him?
No, I live with my mom.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you're still in high school or have you graduated?
No, I graduated already.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions. Do you all have any questions, counsel? Any cross-examination?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Not from the defense either, Judge.
All right, you may mute yourself, Mr. Weaver, and continue to listen to my ruling if you'd like.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, PD Jinx.
Thank you, Judge. We are asking you to allow signature bond in Mr. Weaver's case. He has lived in Atlanta all of his life. His entire family is here, mother, aunts, and uncles. He does have two children, one you've just heard from, and then another child who is a year older. He did get his GED, and then got certified in carpentry, and that's what his current job is, Judge. He actually creates set designs. He's a scenic artist for theaters, and he's been doing that for the past 3 years consistently. So for all of those reasons, Judge, we do have solid contact information for him. We're asking you to allow a signature bond with the no further violent contact so that he can continue on this good path moving forward in terms of his relationship with his children.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order that he have no further violent contact with the victim, who is Chaz Weaver as well, or Chaz. They have the same name or similar names.
They seem to just have a spelling difference, but I guess the same pronunciation.
Okay.
Birth certificate error on my birth certificate, but we made sure that his was spelled correctly. I didn't see a need to file for a formal name change because I had gotten so used to dealing with the CHASS that it didn't really bother me. But we know that he's my son, and
All right.
he's Chad Jr. So
Okay.
Break that bond down if you would to.
Oh, so the simple battery, that will be 1,500, and then on the criminal trespass, 1,000. And that equals 25, right? 1,500 and 1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. And so with the no further violent contact, I'll order that. I won't order a stay away since it seems like there will be some healing going on and some reconciliation. So that's what we hope to have happen. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
And I'm sorry, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Add on 1 and 2.
All right, I'll call both cases. First case is 24 CR 001233E. Kentavon Shields, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, a 2nd count of criminal trespass. Second case 24 CR 001234E, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence. It's like first case is February 7th, second case is March 2nd. Pre-trial.
Fifth arrest, 2022 weapons possession conviction, 2019 FTA, 2018 possession of a pistol by person under 18 years of age, possession of marijuana conviction. That was 1 case. Another 2018 arrest, possession of a pistol by person under age. That's all.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. And those are the dates we have, the dates that Your Honor gave. The first one was February 7th of 2024, where the victim in this case, her name is Michaela Harris. The officers were actually flagged down by the victim, who identified herself as such. And she informed Officer Mouzon, that's spelled Mouzon, that her child's father, Kentavian Shields, physically assaulted her. She described him as having punched her in the lip, and the officer did observe visible bruising to the lips and biting her on her hand. In addition, Ms. Harris described that Mr. Shields had grabbed a baby bag with items inside of the bag, items for the baby, obviously valuing at less than $500. And after doing so, he ran off. Officers were able to access a photo of Mr. Shields by running his license, and Ms. Harris on the scene did make a positive ID of the defendant and the person that she said had done these things. I'm going to say less than a month later, on March 2nd of 2024, at 409 John Wesley Dobbs, Northeast in Atlanta, Miss Harris met Mr. Shields so that he could actually see his son. He had been complaining about not seeing his son. While they were at the 409 John Wesley Dobbs address, an argument ensued and the defendant threatened to break the victim's phone. Miss Harris hid her phone, and the defendant, in an effort to take it away from her, grabbed her pants, struck her, threw her to the ground. The accused then took the son, but later brought the son back to the scene. Officer Coffin, the officer that responded to this particular scene, observed bruising to the left side of the victim's head, a cut on her forehead, and abrasion to her right elbow. Once again, this separate officer was able to obtain a photo ID of Mr. Shields, and once again, Ms. Harris made a positive ID. The criminal history that the state has is similar to that of which pretrial services has given. Two, possession of firearms under the age of 18 out of Newton County in 2018. And then there is also possession of firearm for a person under the age of 18 here in Fulton County. I believe it's still an open case. I'll give you that case number, Your Honor. It's 18 CR 008 599 H as in house. And I'm also showing a 2019 failure to appear in Fulton that was time restricted. Your Honor, given the two incidents here, given the past incidences of minor carrying a firearm, as well as the open case that's here in Fulton, and two incidences back to back with the same victim, Miss Michaela Harris, the state is recommending a surety bond. In this case, an $8,000 surety bond, $4,000 on each. I'll have to give you the breakdown, Your Honor. $8,000 surety bond, given the severity and frequency of the abuse of the victim in this case. No further contact with the victim, Miss Michaela Harris. If the court is inclined to allow him to have visitation with his son, we're asking that it happens with a third-party transfer or some type of observer who can ensure that he does not cause any additional physical harm to Miss Michaela Harris. We're asking for no firearms, drugs, or weapons while on bond, as he currently has an open firearm case. As it relates to the breakdown, Your Honor, we would be asking for $3,000 on each of the battery family violence cases, for which there are two, and then $2,000 on the criminal trespass for the stolen items. And so that is the state's recommendation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Peter Jenkins.
Yep, I'll be handling Mr. Shields. Judge, Mr. Shields is 22 years old. He has lived his life entirely in Atlanta. Most unfortunately, he was actually in foster care from the age of 7 until 18 years old. So just about 4 years ago. Right now, he lives with his biological sister. He does have some extended family in Atlanta. He said that he did complete high school through the 11th grade, but was not able to obtain his GED yet. Judge, as you heard, he does have, a child with the alleged victim in this case. The surety bonds that the state has mentioned, those amounts are tantamount to no bonds for Mr. Shields. He currently is a dishwasher at Chipotle in Buckhead, so he does not make very much money, and he stated that he does contribute to, he does contribute financial support to his child when he can. So we're asking you for significantly less in terms of a surety bond, if you're inclined to give a surety bond over a signature bond. And we are definitely asking for the third-party transfer. There's been no allegation in terms of a crime related to his child. So we would ask for just a regular third-party transfer so that he can continue seeing his child.
Do we know if he has legitimated his child yet?
I do not know the answer to that, Judge.
The state does not know the answer to that.
I think he's shaking his head, yes?
I signed a birth certificate.
No, it's not legitimating your child.
What's you say?
It's not legitimating. All right. I'm going to order on
Your Honor,
the first.
if I may, before
Yes.
you rule, I I do agree with Ms. Jinks as it relates to the recitation, other than the what she said as it relates to the child not being affected. Both of these incidents happened in the presence of the child. One of them, she was actually pushing the baby stroller with the child in it, and she was struck by the defendant in this case. The state may very well add cruelty to children in the third degree on these cases at a later time, depending on the age of the child, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Child's 6 months old, Judge.
All right. Well, I'm not going to order visitation because without legitimation, he doesn't have any rights to it anyway, not legal rights. So that would be based on the mother's agreement to that. And it sounds like she probably should not or will not agree to that at this point. So I'm going to order surety bond on the first case in the amount of $5,000 surety bond, which will be 3 on the battery, 2 on the criminal trespass. I'm going to order no further contact with Michaela Harris. And I'm not going to order any visitation with the child. And if she wants to allow it, but she's not required to, then it should obviously be facilitated by a third party and not alone and supervised. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. If he does own or possess any guns or weapons, he needs to immediately turn them over to the sheriff's department. On the second case, I will order that $3,000 surety bond on the battery charge. And again, no further contact with the victim, Michaela Harris. And once again, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. If he has any, turn them over to the sheriff's department. And same thing with visitation on the child. I'm not going to order that or give him a right to that, but if she decides to, which I hope that she doesn't, then it must be facilitated by a third party and supervised. I think that is it. Anything else that I miss? Anything, counsel?
No, nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right, that will be it. Was that it, deputies? Or we
No,
have one?
Ms. Hill, the battery charge.
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Hill was one of her 2 charges was NOD'd, but the other charge still remains. And if we
I
could-
don't have a hill on my calendar.
Yes, she was not placed on the calendar. I believe that was an error. One of her 2 original charges, the state declined to go forward on, but the other one still exists. So I'd like if we could hear the issue of bond on her today.
Ms. Lewis?
We had got notion that one of the charges, we were told there were, we thought the whole case was NOD. Apparently it's not. I don't know if the state have filed down the accusation or not on the other charge. Have you?
Yes, Your Honor. So
If so, we can go on and accuse it. If not, we just have to go through by the booking number.
well, yes, Your Honor, the battery family violence charge was accused. The other suggestion was NOD. So it should have been filed down this morning as well.
Okay.
Booking number is 240-4168.
All right, give me a couple minutes. I'll get an accusation number hopefully for the counter is. Give me a second.
Your Honor, what we're holding on that, Your Honor, may I inquire as it relates to, and this gentleman is not on your calendar, but he was supposed to be, but I was told that he was transferred. It was transferred to the Superior Court to felony first offender. And I just want to see if he actually made it to felony first offender. And that is Mr. James Powell. And we had him as.
Yes, he was seen this morning. Yes, sir.
So he did make it. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Your Honor, thanks for bearing with me. I don't do this much with you guys, and I got Benadryl in my system, and I feel like I was rubbing off some.
You're doing pretty good. I bet ASG Graham's not gonna talk about you too bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
He
not.
taught me most of what
Absolutely not. Yeah.
he taught me most of what I knew this morning, so I appreciate it.
Well, Your Honor, while everybody's going over trying to get some more information, would you like to go over the calendar?
We could do that. Yes, ma'am.
In the essence of time, and it's such a beautiful day.
It is. It is.
Okay. All right. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is March the 28th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through the jail. 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. 3, SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. 4, reset further notice with a $3,500 SOB through the jail. 5, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. 6, reset further notice with a total $2,500 SOB through pretrial. 7, reset further notice with a total $2,500 SOB through the jail. 8, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. The add-on for 1 is a $5,000 total good bond, and it's going to the SAP calendar. And position number 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Now, on the case of Darius Bridges, that we didn't have him on the calendar or whatever, the theft by taking, that is going to be a $5,000 good bond. Are there any questions or comments pertaining to what I've just said?
Nope. Think you got it.
Okay, good. All
And
right.
this case coming up is Hill. What's the first name?
Jara.
I'm sorry.
Jara.
Oh, I made up a name. That's not it. I thought it was Hill. Don't listen to
Her
me.
last name is Hill.
Oh,
Her
okay.
first name is Jahara, Jawhara.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, I see it now in the chat. It pays to read here. Thank you, Miss Lewis, for putting it in the chat for me. And we've got booking number 2404168, and the charge is battery. All right, go ahead. Pretrial, do you have the history or no?
5th arrest. 2021 disorderly conduct, NOLO. 2016 terrorist threats, obstruction, first offender. That's all.
Let's say.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just for the record, the accusation that was filed this morning was a battery family violence.
Oh, okay.
The incident took place March 15, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a domestic disturbance at 585 McWilliams Road Southeast in Atlanta. Upon arrival, officer met with Jahara Hill, who was unable to articulate what happened. Ms. Hill's mother, Beverly Weaver, with whom the officer had spoken to the day before, informed the officer that Ms. Hill was upset about the way her brother, Jalil, it's Jiliyl, Hill, had spoken to her child. Mr. Hill attempted to calm his sister down when she scratched him on the neck, leaving deep lacerations and swelling. Mr. Hill advised that he did hit her on the head in self-defense after she grabbed his private parts. Our office has been in touch with Mr. Hill. I do believe, well, he was on Zoom. He does state he's the brother of Miss Hill, and that there are other family members that reside at the incident location. She is often verbally abusive. This is the first time that she's been physical with him. He stated that the family does have ongoing issues with her because she does oftentimes use fighting words and she spits. That she does have some image issues, and reported that he wants no contact and to stay away from the incident location. And Your Honor, based on the history and the facts of the case, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, 1-day anger awareness, MHET, no further contact with Jaleel Hill. A stay away from the incident location, 585 McWilliams Road Southeast. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And Your Honor, I do see Mr. Hill, so if we can sound for him at this time.
All right, Mr. Hill,
Yes.
do you wish to address the court today?
I have nothing to say unless it's a dealing with as far as her getting help for her mental issues. She needs help.
Hold on. If you're going to address the court, I need to swear you in. That's
Oh,
why
yes,
I
ma'am.
asked first, yes or no.
Yes, ma'am. You can swear me in.
So do you want to address the court?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you can put your hand down. And are you in fear of Miss Hill?
I'm not in fear, but she can't coexist with me.
Okay, I was getting ready to ask, do you want to have any further contact with her?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you all have any children together?
That's my sister.
I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
that's
I'm
my
sorry.
sister.
This is your sister. I apologize. I
ma'am.
apologize. Okay. And so you are how old?
I'm 33.
Okay. And she's how old?
30.
30. Okay. And so whose home is this that you all reside in?
My mother's.
Okay. So you both reside with your mom. All right. Are we still recording? I mean,
Yeah,
are we
we
still
are.
live streaming?
Yes, we are.
Okay, can we stop the live stream?